Alright, what is up, my Mugen heroes, boys and girls? It is your boy Bloodbath Anime here, and I've been slacking on the uploads. I was supposed to double upload, what was that, Tuesday, and I was supposed to then double upload the next day. This week has been, my upload schedule, it has not been working. Not that it hasn't been working, it's just I have not been getting sleep because I have been playing a lot of AUT, a lot overnight, and just been grinding, and that's not even my type of game. I just want to collect all the good stands, and it takes a lot of grinding. Literally, a good chunk of like your day it's gone playing that game. But then I was supposed to stream today, but not today because I had to work and I was tired. I fell asleep, and now it's like 8 o'clock where I am now, and I'm doing this video. But a lot of people ask me this tutorial, how I make the modern main menu screens, or how do I even apply them? How do they work? Is there a specific file for them, or just generally how to set them up? That's what I'm going to be showing you here today. So, the simple fact on these main menu screens, there's nothing special to them. There's zilch, nothing special to it. It's the fact that they are simply just fonts. They're just fonts, but instead of using ABC 1, 2, 3, they're using images that you made. And literally, follow me on this, because this is not a video teaching you how to make it, it's teaching you how to apply it. You need this is a core thing you need, and this is a new saying I have saying, your imagination. I was speaking so well. Your imagination reshapes reality, and this comes into play when making Mugen, because Mugen is about 60% a good chunk of Mugen is using your imagination, because I'm pretty sure you want to make what you want to make, and it's all coming from your brain, it's all coming from your ideas. It's about that. It's about most of Mugen is using your imagination, and when using your imagination comes making it yourself, and what comes that is using Adobe Photoshop. If you don't have Adobe Photoshop, I would provide a free download link down in the description below. Here we are in Adobe Photoshop. Now, like I said, I'm not providing you guys with these things. Literally, you have to make it yourself. But I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to get it on there and how the steps to do it. Now, for me, what I usually do when I'm making my Mugen, before I even add anything, I need inspiration. I need to make it in Photoshop before I make it how I'm going to make it in Mugen. So basically, that's not supposed to be there. Give me a couple seconds. So boom, this is basically how it will look in Mugen, and it will look like this because most of my Mugen is usually 720p or 1280x 720, or the local cord is actually 1280 720. So that's how I usually make mine, 1280 720. I don't really do 480p because 480p is just not my style. I like to have it full screen. I'd rather have it 720. So basically, this is how it would look in Mugen. You would need to create the tabs yourself. So arcade mode, versus mode, team arcade mode, all those other modes. You don't have to add every single one of them, but if you just want every single one of them, you gotta make it small, spacious for everybody who are playing Mugen, or if you're playing Mugen, so you can see to know what mode you're doing. As for the text and everything, that's again Photoshop. You have to add it yourself using the text. Now add your text in there, but it's add your text in. That's how you get it to show the mode and all that. But we don't need all of this background. All we need is the modes to show, and this is all we need. I make sure to already extract every single one of them one by one, so I'm going to show you. You need to extract everyone one by one. So if you're going to have arcade mode go first, you might want to add like some kind of, go into the layer styles or double tap on the layer. You may add some outer glow to it. Maybe change the color of the font, change the color of the background right here to indicate that that mode is selected. Alright, now depending on how you're making the Mugen, whether it's going to be OpenGL, DirectX, or just System, but this is just for System and DirectX. So for System DirectX, your image needs to have something called index. You need to index your image, and what that basically means is adding some sort of green screen behind the image. If you don't know what a green screen is, a green screen is where it crops out every color besides you like whatever color you have on that's besides the color of the background. So basically, in this case, if I had a green screen, you would be able to see, like, you know, you'd be able to see just me, not anything else. But in this case, for images, it'll crop out the background, and that's how a Mugen sprite needs to be, depending on how you're making it. So we're going to steadily go here, go to wherever I put, so menu temp. But I'm just showing you how to index the image. I'm not going to fully do it, but so normally when indexing your images, if you have like some kind of glowing background, in which case I do, say if I didn't have a glowing background, then this wouldn't be the issue. If I didn't have the glowing thing that indicates, you know, what mode I'm selecting, if I had a, you know, different indicator, but in this case I'm using that, you know, the sprite is going to mess up. It's gonna, because it like, you know, downgrades it. Excuse me. It sort of downgrades it. So that's just how I do it. But in this case, if I didn't have it, that wouldn't be much of an issue. But in this case, I'm just showing you. So you're gonna need to make another layer. Below that layer, you need to make it some sort of color that isn't on the sprite. So it can't be yellow, it can't be white, it can't be some sort of either black or gray. It needs to be like some color that's not on there. So in this case, it would be physically a green screen. So I'm using GIMP for this because I don't know how to fully do it on the Photoshop yet. GIMP is just a bit easier for me. You're going to want to go to image, mode, index. Same thing with Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop has the same thing, it's just built a little different. I'm just showing you on GIMP. You're going to index, and it's going to actually convert image to an index color. The max amount of color is 256. What you're going to do is to that, we're going to press convert. But like I said, you see the brightness just dimmed a little. But the sprite didn't change as much. Everything still was the same amount of quality. So then you're going to go to color, map, rearrange color map. And what you're going to do here is find that color green, move it up to 0, and boom. So once you put it inside the sprite, it won't show the green screen anymore, because that's how they need to do it. If it's not indexed, that means the image will come out as a 32-bit or a 24-bit image. If it is indexed, it will come out as a 5-bit or 8-bit image. Okay, so but in this case, we're not gonna do it in the index method because that's gonna take forever for me, and I'm trying to make it simple as possible. You're gonna want to go to your Mugen game folder. Usually, if you go to your fonts, you have all the basic fonts, the arcade font, yada yada yada. But in this case, we're going to use the arcade font. Copy those, move it over here. You can paste it right here. Boom, arcade font is there. Now what you're gonna do, you can rename the font to main underscore menu. Same thing with the arcade, SFF main underscore menu. It doesn't have to be that, but that's just a sure way to indicate that it is. Now you don't have to do this, this is just how I do it, the name of the font. You would normally be using Notepad or whatever Notepad you use to edit your Mugen, you know, files, DEFs, or whatever the case may be. And then boom. And down in the description below, they would have this file called Common Mugen Menu Settings. This would be in the system. These are SYSTEM.DEF settings, the one at the top. So this will only apply to SYSTEM.DEF, and this would go to the FONT.DEF settings. So whatever font you choose to use as the basis of the main menu is FONT.DEF, and then it needs to be bitmap, sprite, 720p, 1280, 720, 0 spacing, offset 0. So you're gonna copy that, and this is for it to be full screen. There's a bunch of different settings, but these are just what I use. You're gonna go to this, all that, paste that, boom. Then what you're gonna do is change the file SFF to the one you renamed it to, underscore menu, and boom. As far as it is, that should be done and completed. Now we're gonna go into Fighter Factory. If you don't have Fighter Factory, make sure you have Fighter Factory download. There's about like 4 to 5 different Fighter Factories I know. I'm pretty sure I have the last one they ever made. So then you want to go to the Mugen game folder you chose or you made. I have a bunch. It's messy. Then you're gonna go right here, wherever you placed your main menu def, you're gonna open it. Then open up the sprite too, because it doesn't open automatically. Boom, now the sprite is there. Now you see all these different sprites. Now you're gonna get rid of get rid of everything that's not starting with the first get rid of everything after you reach the first letter A. And then get rid of everything after you reach Z. Get rid of everything after you reach Z. Get rid of all of that. You don't need all that. You only can have a certain amount of menus anyway. I'm just going through and show you the line of I'll forget my alphabet for a minute. Alright, there you go. Boom, you're gonna save that. Boom, now you're only gonna see A through Z. Now each letter is assigned to a specific group in the index number. Now as you can see, the fonts don't go any above 0 or below 0, they stay at 0. And as for the index, they go from 65 to 90. That's A, B, C, D in uppercase form. In uppercase form, not lowercase. Uppercase. So you're gonna have 65 being A, 66 being B, 67 being C, so on and so forth. I will have the entire file for the the number line just in case if you forget while making it. So let's go to where I put all my modes. So there's only 8. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So we're going up to H, so we can get rid of every number besides A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Boom. We have 8. And boom. Actually, make sure you keep a letter because you can't save it without having some kind of sprite with some sprite without a what's the word? Without a palette. So make sure you keep at least one of those letters alive because you cannot save it without having a sprite with a palette. Especially if you're doing 1.1. So we're gonna resave it as 1.1 sprite. This is just if you're doing OpenGL. If you're not doing OpenGL, you can keep it the same because you have your files already indexed with the colors and everything. So you don't have to worry about not being able to save. You'll have everything saved because you have a palette on it. So boom, we're gonna start right here, add it in. Boom, you see? They're images. They're nothing special. Like, well, they are special because you made it from yourself, and it always feels good when you make it. So we're gonna ignore. Every time I actually just keep pressing ignore. Just gonna go down the line, add it all in. Yep. E. More to go. Well, now you save because you do have a sprite with the palette. So you got arcade versus team versus survival training. Watch. Wait, whoa. The arcade versus team versus survival. Skipped over one. You skipped over one. Okay, apologies. I had to go back and I had to add a sprite. So technically, there's actually 10 sprites in here with 9 modes. So we're gonna duplicate that because I have to use one. So we have arcade versus team versus team survival training. So you will be training. You are number 9. Boom. Then you go to watch. Oh my god, I'm messing up everywhere. Okay, that's watch. Settings. And that's exit. Cool, now let's go over and see arcade versus team versus survival training, watch, settings, and exit. And then our sprite with a palette. Now you're gonna want to open up your Mugen game def folder. Open your Mugen system.def folder, whatever. So for me it would be Mugen 1 and system. SYSTEM.DEF, excuse me. As you can see, we got the menu set up. Take a quick peek at it. I literally did this in today. And like I said, I have to make the inspiration on Photoshop before I even put it onto Mugen. Like I said, it looks exactly like the way I put it on Photoshop. Just don't mind that's because how they render it. So now you want to go here, you're going to go to title info. So now what you're also going to open back up is the common Mugen menu settings. And now go to the SYSTEM.DEF part. And now what you're going to do is in your SYSTEM.DEF, make sure you go to menu position, copy that over. Go over here, see where it says menu position, copy that on there. Boom. As for adding the font in, you do need to add that font in. So let's go here, go to your Mugen game folder. Make sure you have the font placed inside. So we're gonna cut. Make sure you have it placed inside the data folder. So it just needs to be font. You can have up to, I'm pretty sure, 9 fonts. Main underscore menu. Def. I know I'm going all over the place, but I'm trying to get it all. Now you go to title info. Now that you have it in, make sure you change the font to the selected. So make the item font 0. Get rid of that. Make that 0. Make the item font 7 or whatever font you set it as. You have 0 spacing. Menu item visible. Box cursor, don't make it visible. Visible items, it needs to be set to 1 because that's how it is, because it's one image showing at a time. The window margins need to be 1280 x 720 or just 1280 720. The box cord, leave the box cord the same. Box cord is remain the same. And now what you're going to do in order for it to show up is it needs to be ordered in the letters that you chose. So arcade was A, versus is B, team arcade is C, team versus is D. You're not adding team co-op, so keep it blank, but also keep the quotation marks. Survival is ABC E. No survival co-op, keep that, but keep the quotations. That's F. That's G. That's H. And that is I. Uppercase I. And now let's check out the final product. Like I said, that is how I make my custom made menus. As you can see, everything looks exactly the same, but I built it in Photoshop because I make everything 1280 x 720. So it's better for me, and it should be better for y'all because that is just the simplest way to do it. Because you're already running on 1280 720 local chord and size screen, so it should make it just as easier as making it in Photoshop with 720. Okay guys, I hope that cleared everything on how to make the menus, but let's go over it. First, you need to make it and envision it on Photoshop. Don't just jump into Mugen straight away and just adding a bunch of stuff, because it gets very difficult when doing that way when you don't already have it envisioned or you're on a different platform. Second, if you're indexing it, or if you're indexing it, means you're probably using Mugen 1.0 or using 1.1, and it's either System or DirectX. You need the you can switch up. I don't know how to do it on Photoshop, but that's how you use GIMP. You can use GIMP, index the image, make the amount of color 256 when you index the image. Make sure you have the proper color that's not on the sprite. If the sprite has the same color that you're going to use for the background, don't use it. Use a different color. And then once you have that, you're going to save it. Then put it into Mugen. The background should be gone. Or if you're doing Mugen 1.1, and if you're doing OpenGL, when you're adding in the sprites, make sure you keep an extra sprite in the fonts, because you need a sprite with a palette. Then once you're done saving that, make sure you put it into the Mugen game data directory. Excuse me. And then when you are in your System.DEF Mugen, make sure you use every file I use, and in the font setting def too. Make sure you just copy and paste. Make sure you keep it if you're gonna go back to it for references. Make sure you meet the menu position. The menu position in the file I'm going to give you. Menu visible items 1. For the font, the top font, keep that at 0. The middle font, keep that at 7. Keep it at whatever selected font you put your menu font as, and the bottom, keep that at 0. And then make sure each font name of the title screen, you know how it's changing arcade to A, B to C, it needs to be those selected fonts that you put it, because those fonts are letters. Each font is a specific letter. So this has been a quick, clean tutorial with your boy. I had everything set up so I could go through this as fast as possible to have this up to you by as late as, for me, it's probably gonna be 10-ish, 11-ish, depending on how fast my upload speed is. Thank you, my Mugen Hill boys and girls, for watching this. I'll see you in the next one.